In the modern world, do you believe that, besides your hands or mechanical machines, you can still move an object, even if that object is a block of stone weighing up to 100 tons? Imagine, you are standing in the middle of the Egyptian desert. Before your eyes are boulders as big as buses, stacked higher than buildings. No wheel tracks, no trace of a crane. There is only a strange silence. And then somewhere, a sound begins to resonate. A steady vibration, like the heartbeat of Mother Earth. And as those sounds spread, stones begin to fly. Did the ancient Egyptians really know how to lift stones using only sound? And if so, who taught them that? Thousands of miles away from Egypt, where the majestic Himalayas touch the sky, there is another secret waiting to be told. Western explorers wrote in their diaries that they saw Tibetan monks using ancient instruments such as drums and horns to lift stone slabs up the mountainside. The slabs weighed several hundred pounds, suspended in the air as if gravity had been bent. Sound, at the right frequency, can not only move the mind, but also move matter. Is the Tibetan theory of sonic levitation the missing piece to deciphering the Egyptian pyramids? Could the ancient builders have possessed a similar knowledge, an unwritten technology transmitted through drums, horns, or mysterious vibrations that are now only lost in the sandstorm? Because strangely, among the stone walls of the pyramids, it has been recorded that there are chambers that seem to resonate perfectly. It is as if they were not just to contain mummies, but to create something greater. If the Tibetans could do it, why couldn't the Egyptians? Part 1. The acoustic levitation hypothesis. Can sound waves lift stones? In modern physics, it is called acoustic levitation, the phenomenon of using sound waves to lift objects off the ground, without contact. It sounds like science fiction, but the truth is that this technology, has been recreated by humans in the laboratory. By simply emitting two streams of ultrasonic sound waves with precise and opposite frequencies, people can create nodes where gravity is almost nullified. And at those nodes, the object will float as if suspended in mid-air. If there is enough energy, enough resonance, enough understanding of materials and sound, is lifting a 10-ton, even 100-ton stone block, still impossible. The problem is that technology today is still within the scope of the laboratory with superlight objects. But thousands of years ago, was there a civilization? That went further than we think. They didn't need wheels, cranes, or steel. What they needed was a kind of sound that no longer exists in the modern world. Part 2. Evidence from Tibet and Egypt. Legend or forgotten technology? In the valleys of the Tibetan plateau, amid the quiet mist, monks recount an ancient ritual. They gather around large stones, lining up hundreds of drums, trumpets, and bells facing a high cliff. And then they begin to harmonize. As the sounds resonate in unison, rhythmically, the heavy rocks suddenly break free from the ground, slowly rising, silently passing over the steep cliff and resting high up where no human hand can reach. The story seems to be a legend. In 1939, a Swedish doctor named Dr. Jarl was invited to Tibet to treat a high-ranking lama. Thanks to his close relationship with the monks, he was allowed to participate in sacred ceremonies that no Westerner had ever witnessed. In his diary, Dr. Jarl described a strange scene. I saw the monks arranging 19 large drums and 13 long trumpets opposite a stone weighing more than a ton. The sound was synchronous, powerful, and then the stone began to vibrate gently, and then rose from the ground. It slowly rose into the air, crossed a 250-meter cliff, and landed on a stone platform above. He also drew a diagram of the arrangement of the instruments, the distances, the angles, and clearly described the time needed to move each stone. Dr. Jarl's report. Jarl later sent his notes to the Royal Society, but they were withheld from the public. Some copies of his notes were only later revealed through unofficial channels. To this day, there is no evidence that he fabricated them, but no one in the West has ever seen the same thing again. However, what he wrote became the cornerstone of the acoustic levitation hypothesis that sound waves, if focused at the right frequency and direction, can create a lift force so strong that it can defeat gravity. But what surprised archaeologists even more was the presence of acoustic resonance chambers in the pyramids, especially the Great Pyramid of Giza. Researchers discovered that inside the Great Pyramid, sounds emitted at a certain frequency would be amplified and reflected in a completely unexpected way, as if the structure was designed to play a giant musical instrument. So, did the ancient Egyptians also understand the power of sound? Did they use a lost technology, a type of levitation that left no trace? Between two cultures thousands of miles apart, is this a coincidence or evidence of an ancient, common knowledge that modern humanity has lost? Part 3. Sound, the lost piece in the pyramid mystery? Many archaeologists and symbologists have asked, could it be that the ancient Egyptians understood the hidden power of sound and used it in a way that modern science has yet to grasp? In some reliefs at the temples of Abydos or Saqqara, people discovered strange images, sticks touching stones, above which zigzag waves were emitted, an ancient symbol often used to indicate vibration or sound. In the tomb of Osiris, there is a relief depicting priests holding conical loudspeaker-like objects, standing around a stone. Some later Hermetic texts of the Ptolemaic period even mention the art of adjusting frequencies to call blocks of stone to the will of Ra. In the Great Pyramid of Giza, some rooms such as the King's Chamber have a special sound resonance structure. When you create a sound at the right frequency in the room, it will amplify like a resonant speaker. All of this, although not directly acknowledged, makes us ask the question, did sound ever play a role in the construction or operation of the great structures of Egypt? However, when returning to the experimental world, modern science has not yet been able to reproduce the phenomenon of acoustic levitation on a large scale. Current successful experiments are limited to lifting extremely light objects, such as grains of sand, drops of water, and even small ants. To lift a stone weighing several tons, physicists estimate that millions of watts of energy are needed, and an extremely sophisticated sound control system that no modern technology has yet achieved. Furthermore, sounds at that intensity can rupture the lungs and eardrums of humans, creating many biological risks, so it is not easy to test on a real scale. But could it be that the ancients knew how to combine geological elements, sacred spaces, natural materials, and sound waves in a way that we have forgotten? Maybe it is because we see everything with our eyes that we forget that the ancients heard and felt the world through vibrations. Part 4. Whispering Stones, Acoustic Resonance and Ancient Rituals. Theories of the pyramid's resonant frequency. Many researchers, from acoustic engineers to occultists, have been obsessed with the acoustic precision inside the Great Pyramid. Tests in the King's Chamber have shown that the chamber is capable of amplifying a frequency of 110 Hz, a frequency that coincides with the resonance of the human heart. When a particular sound is played or sung, the chamber responds with a deep, even vibration, like an echo from another world. Some believe that the ancient Egyptians built the pyramid not only as a tomb, but also as a resonance device to convert sound vibrations into energy, or to connect with the gods. Sound, the soul of ancient rituals. In many paintings, Egyptian priests are seen performing rituals with small bells, hand drums, and sistrums, creating repetitive sounds that penetrate the subconscious. They often performed rituals in sealed stone chambers, where the sound was trapped and swirled, leading the participants into a state of hypnosis or sacred connection. It is hypothesized that the pyramids were not only physical structures, but also frequency amplifiers, a kind of giant lithophone, where high-frequency rituals were performed to heal, connect, or communicate with other dimensions. Science is still searching for answers. Although not yet fully proven, recent research on sound therapy, vibrational healing, and frequency medicine is gradually rekindling interest in: could sound, tuned to the right frequency, change the state of matter, or even open doors to the unseen world? The Great Pyramid of Giza, with its 2.3 million ton blocks of perfectly aligned stone, may have been tuned to vibrate in ways only the ancients understood. And who knows? If you put your hand on that stone and listen deeply, you might hear an ancient echo, a whisper that has transcended time.